Hola! I don't think no one is here yet. But once everybody starts joining in, welcome again and happy Friday. I feel it's flown by working from home. I'm very grateful for Chosen Foods that we've been able to continue making this happen for everyone. So, hi! Hola! Thank you for joining, everyone. We're gonna make some awesome, very simple dish today. It's a stir fry, and we're gonna add some ginger and garlic to make an immune booster full of veggies for these times where we need that power from our food. So awesome. We'll get started here. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Awesome. So the most success about making a dish at home is to have all of your ingredients ready to go. So things like stir fry is something that kind of cooks quickly, so you have to be ready. So it's a great practice to have like a mindful cooking situation today. So I'm gonna teach you how to prep different veggies and different cuts on veggies, so you can be playful at home. And if you have kids, it's really helpful to switch it around and play with the colors, play with the cuts. So a simple carrot can go a long way if you cut it differently. So maybe it would be more appealing to your partner, your kids, anybody that's gonna enjoy. So perfect. I have a tray full of the veggies that will go on our stir fry today. So, okay, I think you have a good view of my board from there. Perfect. We're gonna start off making the sauce and leave it on the side, which is the most, not the most important part, but definitely a very important part of finishing your dish. So here I have some garlic. Garlic is pretty easy to find, farmer's market, at the store. This one's been sitting in my fridge for a little longer, and you can see the skin is a little bit like darker, or there's some dark spots, which is totally fine. So the fastest way, I'm gonna grab a little piece of the garlic here. You can just tear it apart and it easily comes off. So yeah, like I've said, and you might as well already know, ginger is an antiviral, sorry. So it helps a lot to boost our immune system. This is probably not the right one, but the easiest way, so this spoon is pretty rounded. So the easiest way to take the skin off of ginger like this, a lot of people have attempted to do it with a peeler, but it takes a lot of the skin away, of the actual flesh away. So the easiest way is to scrape it down with a spoon or a little fork like this one. So it just comes right off. And it's not taking any extra, because it's such a little amount that you don't want to take away extra flesh. So cool. Oh, so we'll peel it all around. I'm making a little bit of a mess down here, but making a mess is fine too. Cool. So once we're done going all around, I hope you can see there. So it's the skin, there's a better shot. It literally comes right off. So it's a helpful tip I got when I was in school or cooking in kitchens. I can't remember anymore. But anyway, cool. We're done. It takes a little bit of time, but we're getting there, and you can start getting that fresh, amazing smell of ginger. So that we're gonna grate this ginger. So what you can do, okay, so most of the skin is off. Perfect. what we're gonna do, I have a small grater here, and what you can do at home too is also chop it. So I'm gonna grate a part of it and we're gonna chop the rest of it, so you have a couple options to work with at home. Some of the box like cheese graters have like a small little spiky thing that we rarely use, so that works too. So if you have a box grater at home, that works great. But I'm gonna grate half of the ginger here, and you'll see how a lot of the root will kind of stay cramped around here, but it doesn't matter. The whole point is getting the nutritious value from the ginger and also the fiber in that little root. Cool. So I grated like half of it. So we're gonna, you see how it's all the little flesh that it's gonna go amazing in our sauce and stir fry. So I'm gonna transfer it to a small bowl that I have here going on, where we're gonna make our sauce. Okay, so that's the grating part. And now for the chopping part. So super easy and simple. I'm gonna chop away a little bit of the root that we don't need. And you're gonna cut slices of the ginger, pretty small, I would say. So try to make it like a very thinly sliced potato, and we're gonna cut this in strips and then into tiny little cubes, so we don't get like an aggressive bite when we make our stir fry. Okay, so I cut into little rounds there. Now I'm gonna cut the other way and just create a little rough chop for, so now I have little strips of it, and then I'll flip it again and try to cut tiny little cubes, minced ginger, if you might, which is awesome. So for whatever reason your comments don't show up, so I'm gonna see if I can try to refresh on my end, and see what you guys, if you have any questions so far. Just do a rough chop on the garlic, and we transfer the garlic onto our pot here. Let me see. Hola. So we'll see if this refreshes for your comments. Okay, cool. There we go. So better. Perfect. So now that we have our ginger here, so an important thing to think about is that you don't want to cook the ginger off a lot, because that obviously affects the amount of vitamins and minerals that are given to us by our fruits and veggies. So that's why I'm gonna leave it for the end. So once we are done cooking our veggies and cooking them down a little bit, I'll add the fresh ginger and garlic so that we get most of our most of its power through that. So we're gonna move on to the garlic. So garlic sometimes is so good to buy fresh. I'm not a huge fan of the ones that come in a jar, because they kind of turn out a little bit bitter. So I'm gonna work with a couple garlics today. So we're gonna do 2 garlic cloves, and this is obviously everything that we say here. Please feel free to substitute. If garlic is not something that you cook with or not used to, then it's completely fine. So any profile, flavor profile that you do at home. So that's one way to peel the garlic. But another faster way that you've probably seen around is if you press gently with your knife, it kind of cracks the skin for you, and it makes it a lot easier to peel. So boom, or maybe not. Cool. So there we have 2 small garlic cloves. We're gonna add this to our ginger shortly here with some coconut aminos, and just leave it on the side to start marinating with each other and make an amazing sauce for us later. Hola. Let us know where you're connecting or joining us from. I would love to know where are you joining us from. So for the garlic, very simple. You can either crush it or just do a quick little mince like you were with the ginger. So same concept. You cut little thin rounds. Maybe you won't be. Oh, hi New York, Lucadia, Toronto. Ooh, sunny San Diego. That's awesome. Welcome everyone. Okay, so we have here little thinly slabs of garlic. So then you cut it the other way. So when you're preparing garlic, you don't really want to mess with it too much because same deal, you know, like you just mess with the flavor of it. So just chop it enough and drop it in there. Also garlic, I love garlic, so I have no problem popping into a big chunk of garlic when I'm eating. So it doesn't really have to be perfect. So go for it. Don't be afraid. It's always easier and cheaper to buy it fresh. And garlic can stay in your pantry for a very long time. So try it out. So we're gonna add the ginger to the garlic to the ginger, either one. And 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos, or if you have at home like reduced sodium soy sauce or any kind of or tamari, any type of soy sauce type deal works. So today I'm using coconut aminos. Perfect. So that's enough for the amount of veggies that we'll be cooking. Perfect. So we'll move on. I'll give this a tiny little stir. And this is gonna go on our stir fry at the end. So perfect. As I was saying in the beginning, for whoever's catching on now, we try to have everything ready once we start prepping the stir fry. So I'm gonna start off with the snap peas here. You can use snap peas, winter peas, whatever, if you have it. If you don't, use any other vegetables that you have at home available. I love sugar snap peas personally because there's just like, it adds a crispy note to your dish and it just works for me. So I love them, and I was able to find some when I went to the store. What I like to do with the sugar snap peas, I kind of like try to clean them out. So you can, the whole thing is edible. So you can try to clean them up a little bit. If you find like some of them have still like the tip of the little flower or the vine that's attached to the actual plant. So that's like the most fibrous part of the sugar snap pea. It's only a little piece of the pea, but it's also fiber, so it doesn't hurt. So once I have them lined up, I cut them in a little like biased, just in 3s, so they're not like lost in there. So just a good size. Also, if you want to leave them whole, that's also quick and easy. So I'm just gonna give them a little chop here. I don't think we'll need all of them. I'm thinking about a cup of the peas because we'll have a lot of greens and onion and all that. This is kind of like maybe 2 cups. So you line them up and cut them in a little bias. Cool. Any questions so far? Oh, I love sugar snap peas too. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad someone else out there too. I love it. Yeah, they're great to eat just raw, but when you put them in a stir fry like this, it actually adds, like I said, a good crunch. And I'm big on textures, so definitely something that I look for whenever I'm cooking something. Okay, so now that we have these guys ready, we'll set them aside. We'll move on to prep our broccoli. Cool. So I have 3 heads of broccoli. We're just gonna use 2 of them. Broccoli, you can also eat the whole thing. It's great. Oh, you're growing in your garden. That's awesome. Cool. Hi, Mexico. Hola. So excited you could join us. Awesome. So you can eat the whole thing, as I was saying. So sometimes the stalk of the broccoli is a little longer. I love if you peel the broccoli a little bit. The outer part of the broccoli is a little bit like harder to eat, but the actual stalk is extremely soft, so don't discard it. Like repurpose everything in your ingredients. We're gonna chop off a little bit of the entail here because it's super dry. And for cutting down florets, last time when we made vegan tacos, I taught you how to cut like slabs, so it was like a thin cut. But this time we're just doing florets. So florets are extremely easy. What I do is I try to start Ooh, there goes one. I try to start separating the little florets from each other so they stay kind of intact. This is kind of like a harder, like a way too big piece to pick up with your with your fork and put it in your mouth. So I like to keep them a little bit smaller or bite size. So first we're gonna cut off the florets and then we'll move on to cutting down some of the big ones. Cool. So literally I'm going around through with the help of the stem to figure out where the little stalks are, and that just is a nice guideline for you to continue chopping down. So very simple and easy steps. Veggies are sometimes tricky. The more you cook with them, the more you adventure. So I'm gonna start cutting down some of the bigger florets. So it also helps to cook evenly. So just the biggest ones, cut them into halves. So they're not as thick and the stalk is not extremely thick. So when you're cooking it, it's just easier to go. Same thing here. We're gonna chop up a little piece of the stem and then start going around. I kind of like flip it around in circles so it's easier to manage. Let me know if anybody has any questions so far. We're basically going around chopping some broccoli and making little florets for our stir fry. So one thing to know about broccoli is that it's insane how much vitamin C it has. It provides about 220% of the daily recommended dose that we consume. So that's kind of cool. Like, who would have thought? We think only citrus or any other fruit has high vitamin C, but it's awesome to know that broccoli also is loaded with vitamin C. Cool. I'm gonna grab a bowl here. To set our broccoli down. That's a lot of broccoli. Cool. Perfect. Any questions so far? Yes, I always struggle trying to figure out how to cut it. Yeah, sometimes it's intimidating, and especially I don't know about you, but lately I've been finding like extremely large heads of broccoli, so that's kind of intimidating. So we got you. I hope you learn a trick to do to cut it down. Okay, perfect. So moving on, we're going to peel our carrots now. I had a few random colored carrots in my fridge, so that's what I'll add here, and it also adds more color. So when I peel carrots, the fastest way to do so for me is to grab it from the kind of like the pointy tip or tail, and literally just drop it down, and you can go real fast. And boom, you're done with one. That's when you do things repetitively for long periods of time in prep kitchens. You start getting creative on how you do things faster. So that's also a good one. Cool. There's some purple carrots, yellow carrots. Also, again, whatever you find in your fridge is fine to use. So be fun. Also, when you go to the market and you see that there's rainbow carrots, go ahead and use them. And even this little one, don't throw it in the trash. This is completely edible. My husband would laugh all the time. He's like, there's like almost mold on this one, and you save it and you make it into something. And I'm like, yeah, well, we need to be, and especially now, we have to be a lot more conscious of our resources and reutilize everything that we have. So yeah, so be conscious of that too, and make it happen. Get creative. I love how this period in time has pushed us all to be more creative in so many ways. So, and thank you for sharing with us. A lot of you guys have been sharing with us how you've gotten creative, and that's awesome. Cool. So now we're gonna go into cutting the carrots in a biased. So what you will do, first of all, like, using your knife is kind of key. You don't want to be using a huge knife or a tiny little knife for a hard vegetable. So it is like very important that you find the right knife to work with in the kitchen. So I love this knife. Is like an all-purpose knife for me. So you grab your carrot, and you can even, if you feel comfortable, you can even grab two of them to go faster, and you cut the little tail off. And we're gonna cut diagonally, very thin slice, whatever, or the thinnest way you can manage to get it, that works. Look how pretty the colors are. Oh man, this is awesome. So also, like, try to stay uniform on your cuts, so they cook evenly whenever we're bringing them to our pan. Cool. So far so good. Awesome. So perfect. So another thing to mention about carrots is that carrots are unbelievably high in vitamin A, which is something that our body doesn't really make. It's something that we need to support ourselves with our diet. So also good to consider, like, the high content of vitamin A in carrots is also awesome. And Amanda, one of my friends at work, shared with me that they're fat soluble. So that's why it's so important to eat the right combinations. And now that we're gonna saute or stir fry these veggies with some avocado oil, it's gonna be perfect. So absorption of this, it's made easier with the combinations of ingredients that you have. Perfecto. Okay. Any questions so far? Beautiful carrots. Oh, thank you. They're so pretty, aren't they? And literally, like, they're the same price as the regular carrots, so you might as well get more colorful. And okay, cool. So I decided to cut them in a bias, but if you want to cut carrots in thin slices, we're gonna cut the peppers and the onion in thin slices. So if cutting thin slices works for you, perfect. So what you do is create a flat surface on your carrot. Boom. Then you flip it around and cut small slabs, and then you cut it into thin strips. So this goes also for crudité, if you're having a hummus party at home. Anything works, really. But this is the way you cut thin little stripes. It's almost like spaghetti here. Woo! Takes a while, but perfect. So if you want to go for stripes, there you go, stripes. This is also amazing for spring rolls. It could be a fun activity to make with your kids at home. I actually should make that this weekend. Cool. So moving up next, I'm gonna drop the carrots on top of the broccoli. It doesn't matter because we will be pouring all of our veggies onto the stir fry shortly. Perfect. So we'll move on to onion. I bought a medium-sized onion. Sometimes I find the large ones like just more annoying to deal with, but onions are basic and we've been doing it every time. So always cut an onion head to tail, so it makes it easier to peel and give you the right thing. I don't know if you can hear the plane, but they've been flying like crazy around here. We have the military base in Mira Mesa kind of close to here, so there's planes going off all day. Cool. Good question about colors. Difference with the colors, they're in taste. Not in this case. The taste is mostly the same. Sometimes the like some are a little bit more bitter. Like the purple one is kind of like a little bit bitter, but the taste is amazing. It's so fresh. Anyway, so moving back to the onion, you cut the little head back and peel off the first skin. We're actually gonna cook slices today, and different than last other Instagram lives that we've done. We've basically cut the onion into cubes or a different cut. So today, since we're gonna slice the onion, you can cut both ends, and that also makes it easier for you to peel. So you cut both ends of the onion and peel back the papery portion of it, because that becomes extremely hard. So to make some julienne or thinly sliced, I always like to think about if you're gonna cut a rainbow into pieces. So you kind of like have to work with your knife to start cutting slices of the rainbow to make everybody happy. That's the whole point, of course. Okay, so we start going around our rainbow, very thinly sliced, and once you get to the end tail, you can flip it over to get more stability. Perfect. And once we cut this onion, I'm gonna start warming up our pan. So many veggies to prep. I love it though. Are you loving cooking at home? What have you been cooking at home? Has it been easy, hard? I want to know more of what you're doing. Cool. So we've got the onion ready. Boom. Perfect. I'm gonna move our tray over here and bring the pan. I don't know if you noticed over here, but I had my pan pressing out the water in the tofu. So we're gonna pan sear the tofu, and since we're short in paper towels, I decided to press our tofu with a kitchen towel, which works great too. So we'll talk about tofu in a little bit. So now I'm gonna start our fire. For stir fry, you always wanna have a high heat. If you have a wok at home, that works great. Oh, Tommy, thank you. You're the best too. And my mom logged in too, which is awesome. Hola, mama. Cool. So when you're cooking veggies like this, the most appropriate way to do it is to have a high heat in your pan. So great thing that avocado oil is a high heat cooking oil. So make sure you have a big enough pot for the amount of veggies that you will be cooking. So if you happen to have a wok at home, but I use this kind of like larger pan that I have at home. So once our pan is warming up, we'll add some oil and allow the oil also to heat up before you start adding your veggies. So the next veggie we're gonna add is a bell pepper, which is also very easy to prep, but people sometimes like are scared of it. But okay, so this is how it goes. I'm gonna leave the onion here on the side so we can add it here to our oil very shortly. So you go in from the side of the pepper and cut it straight in half here. So the easiest way to contain all the seeds and all that is if you go, I'll use my little knife so you can see. Avocado oil is the best. I use it for everything. Oh yes, I love it for baking too. Yeah, thank you for the shout out. Yes, it is honestly, it's so mild and so amazing. So you cut around the bottom. You go in a little half circle here. Hopefully you can see well. And literally the seeds just detach from your pepper. And that helps a lot when you're trying to slice it or cook it, or slice it or to eat it raw or put it in a preparation. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same on the other half. Kind of go into a little circle here. Boom. And it's gone. Awesome. So now I'm gonna cut into the other half, and this kind of like the vein makes it also a little bit bitter when you're cooking. So I like to get rid of it just because, but if you like to keep it all and you eat it all, that's perfect. So I'm gonna just take some of the white part off, cut the other one, and do the same thing. Any questions so far on veggies? So many colors, yes. So that is so important to consider, you know, especially now that we're all at home and wanting to see more or be lively. This is a perfect way to add more color to your life. So fruits and veggies that are available to us, we're so very blessed to have available. Not everybody has the same status on having fruits and veggies close to them. So for the peppers, you can either cut thin slices like this and leave it like that, or I'm gonna cut them just in half, just for practicality and in terms of taking a bite into it, just so it's not a huge piece. So I cut it in half and leave it there. Our oil is ready. Ooh! So we're gonna add our onion and our pepper. I love the sound of this, friends. I love it. Cool. Perfect. And the best way to like cook this, or the best tool that you can use, is tongs. I love using tongs for stir fry. So you give it a good swirl. Cool. And like I said, it goes really fast. So make sure you have all your veggies ready. So already the onion, I don't know if you can see well from there, but let me bring you closer. There. Okay. So it already softened up the onion and the peppers. So always keep your high heat and keep adding veggies and give them an opportunity to start softening. So I'm gonna add the carrot next. Cool. So everything goes real fast. Oh, there we go. So we can add a little bit of salt too. That helps. The salt helps the moisture to come out of the veggies. So that also is helpful in the cooking process. So yeah, I hope you guys can hear me fine and all is well at home. Cool. Awesome. No questions, so that's good. Next up, we are going to have a little preparation ready for our crispy tofu. So this time I'm preparing tofu because I had a random container of tofu at home, and I decided to use that. But if you have at home some chicken thighs or chicken breast, or even like thinly cut beef, or you have a piece of beef in the freezer and you can cut it really thin, that works too. So while this is going on cooking, we're gonna add our broccoli. Broccoli is the one veggie that takes longest from all of these ones here. So we're gonna allow them to mingle and start getting soft and delicious. And give it a stir with your tongs. And we'll give them a second. So many pretty colors. Okay, so over here I turned on my cast iron. I'm gonna leave it in like medium high. We're gonna cook the tofu over there that I had pressed right before we came live, so we can get a lot of the moisture out. So for the tofu, to make it super crunchy, this is like a shake and bake old school technique, but I'm gonna put some arrowroot in my bag. So probably about, I want to say like half cup. So that's a lot. Okay, arrowroot is a root that is very similar to like yuca and some other like mandioca. A root that it's great. It's just a different source of starch. So it's a substitute for cornstarch. Cornstarch works amazing too. It just provides a different texture, which is fine, totally fine. Cool. So I put my arrowroot here. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of salt and some, can you see my baggie? Cool. So I'm gonna add some pepper. And you can add really like this today we're cooking more like an Asian type of dish, but you can really put any other spices you would like in your arrowroot to make your protein any flavor. So if you want to throw in there some garlic salt, paprika, anything really works amazing, and when it fries, it's beautiful. Cool. So we'll give this a little stir. And we'll bring over our tofu so we can cut it down. So you can see fine there. I think so. Perfect. So I pressed the tofu, I cut it in half, so I have a big giant slab. And the fact of that you try to extract most of the moisture helps a lot during the cooking process. So I'm gonna cut small cubes of tofu, so we can shake and pan sear the tofu with the arrowroot that I have in this baggie. So once you cut it in cubes, you can also like do like tofu steaks or chicken strips, anything that you have available at home. So once I have the tofu cut into cubes, I pour it in my baggie and shake it. Once you shake it, and you get rid of the extra excess of the arrowroot. Woo. I'm gonna add some oil to our cast iron pan that is ready. So for pan frying the tofu, you do need a little bit of extra oil, so it doesn't stick to the pan. So in they go. I'm gonna get the rest of these friends. Cool. And more tofu. Perfecto. Make sure you close the bag when you shake them, because if not, the arrowroot or cornstarch will go everywhere in your kitchen. So be mindful of that. Here, we add the rest. Our stir fry is very close to being done, so this is when we're gonna add our ginger. Cool. So let me get rid of this mess here. Perfecto. So I hope, yeah, there you can see the whole picture. So veggies are cooking down nicely, and they're getting a nice little char situation. The colors are beautiful. So we're gonna add our coconut aminos. And can you post the recipe? Absolutely. We'll add the recipe shortly after we're done here. So we have our pre-prepped ginger, garlic, and coconut aminos that are gonna go soak. I wish you could smell this. It's so good. So we're gonna add it to our stir fry and give it a good stir. Oh, what a smell. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper for flavor. You're drooling? Me too. It's very close to lunchtime, so it's exciting. Okay. So we have our tofu over there. You can see it, right? Cool. I'm gonna transfer the pan over here. I'm gonna switch pans so you can see the tofu closer. I'm gonna lower the heat on our stir fry back here because it doesn't really, it just needs to concentrate in flavors and keep cooking down. For our tofu, I'm looking for another set of tongs here. Okay, we'll use the ones from the stir fry. So as you can see, our tofu is crisping up. So you just have to turn them around and allow them to crisp and get crunchy and cook. So some of them have very nice color already, but these tongs are kind of like too big for this, but that's okay. Always, like I said, try to find the right equipment for you. So whatever it is you're cooking, make sure it suits what you're preparing. Cool. Awesome. So they're frying away and being delicious. Any questions on substitutions? I need a smell version. Oh, I know. That would be bomb. That would, oh yeah, so this is used a lot in restaurants. So the arrowroot gives it more of a kind of like a tempura texture without it being so greasy and overbearing. So this is super simple. And again, if you you can even drain the tofu the night before and have it ready to go on the to fry, or this is a great, I feel that it tastes like vegan nuggets from anywhere you like. So that's awesome. Hi. Cool. Oh, you're from India. That's amazing. Welcome, friends. Great. So this is an amazing alternative option for anybody who is plant-based, vegan or paleo. Yeah, cool. So once we have our veggies crisped up, I'm gonna turn off our stir fry. That is ready. All our veggies are snappy and delicious. I'm gonna bring out a plate here. Perfecto. So we are going to serve our stir-fried veggies. I wish you could smell the ginger and the amazingness here. If you have some toasted sesame oil at home, that is amazing too. Cool. Look at this, friends. Look what we made. Vegan chicken nuggets. Yes. Oh, really? Nice. I love that our products are popular in Canada. We're doing our job well then, which is awesome. All right, friends. So this is it. Well, let me pour out some of the crispy tofu here. I'm gonna have to use a paper towel here to drain them out. Perfecto. Woo! That one got me. But I hope you can see how beautiful it makes a little crust. And you just add it on top, or you can dip them in a different sauce. We have an earth goddess that is amazing, made with tamari and tahini. It's amazing. Anyway, friends, top it up with some sesame seeds if you have at home, and please enjoy. Oh, hi, Justine. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next Friday. Stay healthy and happy. Besos.